Hello again, Tucker here with my first kind of official update on how we're going in the game jam. You see, new shirt, hat, uh, so to clean myself up a little bit. Had some lunch, but made some really good progress. This update is really to tell you what this game will be and what elements I am using moving forward. That is the goal of this video. Part one. Let's see. It is a little past 1:30 right now here in Wisconsin. I got started a little after 11, so we're about 2.5 hours into our 48-hour game jam here. So here's what we will be doing. Here's what this game will be. Hopefully, sometime on Sunday. So we're going to be using the event of the Black Sox scandal. That is going to be the era event that we're going to be inspired by. We are going to use the dice drafting aspect that was part of the kind of game board genre, or kind of like the overall style of game. And then there will also be a secret identity game mechanic within it as well. Here's kind of the rundown of why I chose these three things. I was between Black Sox Scandal and Berlin Wall. Uh, the Berlin Wall one, I felt like if I did that one, that would probably be a resource management game, and there'd probably be some sort of a point win condition that goes with that. The one thing I was kind of a little iffy about would be, how much research I'd have to do on probably like building walls, like the Berlin Wall, maybe just in general on some of that as well. I think the main thing I wanted to do would probably been a little too complicated, may not have been easy to kind of see through to the finish. With the Black Sox scandal, I know about that. I know what that is. I know baseball. So coming up with a mechanic that can be kind of loosely tied to baseball can already be something I already know. So it's going to be a lot easier to kind of put those things into motion. With the secret identity part, that was part of like the Black Sox scandal as well. There was some people? There's actually a meeting before the World Series, and there's like almost like a camp of people who are like, we should throw this so we can make more money than what our owner is paying us, which was very common in the early 1900s for baseball. And there was a camp that was like, no, we're not going to throw it. So there was kind of are people throwing the game? Are people not throwing the game? So I think that kind of aspect can really lend itself to kind of a compelling game. Then also the dice drafting option, where someone would roll dice, and then you can place them to kind of determine outcomes. I think can provide a lot of interesting challenges as well, because in baseball, it's not a guarantee that you're going to do really well at the plate. Like one day you can go 4 for 4 and have a home run, and then the next day you go 0 for 5 and strike out 5 times. So it's really hard to maybe find those patterns of, is this person throwing the game or is this just a bad game? So the dice drafting mechanic, I think, can really help, kind of throw people off the scent possibly, because if they might think that you're doing poorly, you might do something in the game that could, kind of help the team win. So that would be another aspect that I think could provide a lot of cool dynamics in a game as well. The other thing with kind of doing it this way, there is kind of like a win condition that is based on points, because you can do it as a replication of the World Series. Now, in the early 1900s, World Series, they would go 9 games. That was the most you could play. So it was a bet. It was whoever won 5 games. So that could also provide a little bit more of a length to a game. Now that's something that could be determined as well. You could do it more modern, where it's a 4 games and you win the series, or still do the 5. I think doing 5 with the story that we're trying to tell of like how owners don't pay their players a lot, so they are resorting to getting bribed and wanting to throw games. I think that could probably provide a better story as well, and kind of fit into the game mechanic as well. The other thing that was a game mechanic as well was like cards that do specific tasks, and I think that can also provide a lot within this game as well. Where you can, after a certain point, you can have people, you can draw a card, and that can kind of determine what's going to happen in this game. You could even say like this pitcher is someone you do not hit very well. That could be like a secret, like another secret identity type thing. It's like you never do well against this pitcher, so you have to not put dice on cards that have something to do with offense. You have to do strictly all defensive things because you won't do well at the plate. And then like kind of figuring out how you would win a game, because it's going to be a one-sided game. how do you determine what that is going to be as well? So the first thing I'm thinking on that is there'd be cards that would be on like essentially like a board that would be a baseball field, and as you roll, you're placing those dice on those cards, and there are different variables that happen. And it might be you have to use a die that says you strike out 4 times. Now, are you using that die in the back of your mind to say like, well, that's going to actually be good for me because I'm actually trying to throw the game, or are you going to play that off as, well, I had only 1 die to play, and that was the only number available, so that's what I went with. And now you're trying to justify why you're placing that die on maybe a very negative outcome for your team. So trying to find those types of dynamics is what like the biggest challenge is going to be, of how you kind of value those, how you determine what the die roll should be on those. But I think, like I said, because I know how baseball works, I know the mechanics of that game, it'll be easier for me to determine what those things can be when they're dealt out on a card table of some sort. So that's the update. That is the game we're going with. That is what I will be building towards in the next 46 some hours. So once again, I'll try to post some updates. I'll do them every once in a while. The next one's probably going to be later this evening after I've had some dinner, after I've gone through a whole bunch of permutations and whatever, and math and science and research. And I'll give you an update on what's going on then. But for now, thanks for watching, and I don't know, comment, I guess. I don't know. If you have questions, we'll see you later. Bye, everybody.